I'm trying to help Chiara find a boyfriend. Anybody interested, please?
Ew! Please don't put that in! Oh my god, I'm really Eatbook's greatest slut! Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Eatbook Cooks. I'm Chiara.
And I'm Suphon.
And Suphon, today the producers have given us a 大挑战, big challenge, because they want us to cook with coriander. So today's challenge, we're gonna use coriander as the main theme and we're gonna cook 3 courses. So Suphon is gonna do the soup, we are gonna share the mains, and I'm gonna do the dessert.
So when looking at coriander, there are 2 parts to the coriander. The first one is the leaf and the stem. The stem, there's a lot of flavor inside. It's responsible for the most flavor for the coriander. But the leaves is more like, a lot of people use for garnish. But at the same time, also, the taste is slightly a bit more milder.
Okay, I've got a challenge for the producers. Since they give us such a huge challenge today, I want you all to do scissors, paper, stone. The loser will eat the stem and the winner will eat the leaves.
Oh
Quick,
my
Maverick and
gosh, paper, stone. Scissors, paper, stone.
oh my god, tough fight! Oh my goodness! Toy girl, one more! Look at her face.
Freshness into your mouth.
Focus.
Eee, the stem is the worst.
For the first dish, we're gonna do a cream of coriander soup. So the ingredients are coriander, chicken stock, cream, leek, onions, flour, lemon, butter, and garlic. Okay, so the first step I'm gonna do is to separate the stems from the leaves.
We've got a lot of questions from the viewers, you know.
Right.
The most requested question is, Suphon Gogo, what's your hair routine? Please tell us.
Actually, I got no routine. I usually wear a cap when I go out. And the reason why usually when we go for a shoot, then my hair always so screwed up, right? It's because in the office I used to wear the headphones. The headphones always push down the hair, so yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start by adding some butter. Just gonna let it melt. So I'm gonna cook the onions gently and the leek also. Alright, then I'm gonna add the stems. So we just cook it at a really low heat to not color the vegetables or anything and let all the natural sweetness from all the aromatics come out. We know it's done when the vegetables start to look a bit limpy. And of course, don't forget to always season always. Okay, so right now the vegetables starting to be a bit limp. We're gonna add in the flour. We're gonna coat the aromatics with the flour. So the flour is responsible for cleaning up the soup. And we're gonna cook out the flour a bit so that it doesn't taste so raw. So now it's we're gonna add the chicken stock. Perfectly fine if you don't have chicken stock, you can use water as well also. So usually we just fill it up to the brim. Okay, and I'm gonna add a piece of garlic as well. I find that the garlic gives a lot of body and aroma to the soup as well also. And then we're gonna let it boil for 30 minutes or so. And in the meantime, we're gonna check in on Chiara, who's been working on the dessert.
Okay, thank you Suphon for passing the coriander baton over, and now it's my turn to do the dessert. And we're gonna make a coriander butter cake with coconut cream today. Not trying to flex or anything, but my coriander butter cake recipe actually went viral on eatbook.sg. But anyway, this recipe is really easy, so let's get this out of the way before Suphon and I work on the mains. Okay, so here are the ingredients that you need. Coriander, flour, sugar, milk, melted butter, eggs, vanilla essence, salt, and baking powder. So before we start, let's preheat the oven to 175 degrees Celsius. First step is to blitz the coriander, and to speed up the process, I'm going to use scissors. Okay, are y'all ready? Cover your ears because it's going to get scary. Ready? Ah! It's not on. Add a bit of water, but don't add too much because if not your entire cake becomes too wet.
So recently you did a shopping stream live with Aiken from NOC. So how was your experience like working with him?
Well, let me just say that Aiken is a better koko than Suphon. Okay, so the coriander pulp is here. Let's first sift the flour. Okay, then sugar, milk, butter, and then just mix it until everything is well combined. Then the second part, we're just going to combine the eggs, vanilla essence, salt, and baking powder. Okay, then now we'll just whisk it until it's a bit like there's a lot of air bubbles, because if not, the cake will be very dense. So now you just want to pour this egg mixture in batches.
You need help?
Okay lah,
Suphon
come Suphon Gogo help a bit.
Okay,
Yo.
okay.
Every time co-host with someone, right, we're gonna ship one.
Okay, so you actually have co-host with a variety of people
Yeah.
over the years. Who is the person that you enjoy co-hosting the most?
It's of course Suphon
Of course, that's why I asked the question.
So prepare a cake tin. I reserved a wrapper here for the butter. There's still some remnants left, so let me just butter the pan up. Then we'll just pour it into the tin. Now you just put it in the oven and let it bake for 30 minutes. So while the cake is baking, I'm actually gonna make the coconut cream. And for this, you need to first freeze up a bowl. And then you need these ingredients: coconut cream, powdered sugar, and vanilla essence. So for this coconut cream, right, actually there's some prep work to do as well. You need to keep it in a freezer like overnight because you want the cream to separate into a thick layer and then a liquid layer at the bottom. Okay, and then we're just gonna spoon out the thicker layer on top. And then you want to put your powdered sugar in as well as vanilla essence. And then just whip the entire bowl up. Okay, so this is the kind of consistency that you want. Ta-da!
Hey!
Now, let's bring the cream back out.
Okay, so I've just brought this soup up to a nice boil. It's been cooking for around 30-45 minutes. Yeah, the next step is to put it in the blender where we'll blend it up together with some fresh coriander and a bit of lemon juice. And make sure that you always cover the top so that it doesn't come out. It's very important that you don't cook the leaves because it gives this very nice verdant green, kind of forest green color to it. Now we're gonna finish our soup by adding some cream to it. But before we do that, the trick to making really velvety smooth cream of something soup is to sieve it. So you just take the soup now and see if you need to add any more salt. Very nice burst of freshness. So now we're just gonna gently heat the soup up to a bare simmer. Not so much that it's over boiling, so that it will not scorch the cream. So it's very important that it doesn't overboil and burn the cream. Put a few dots of olive oil here and there. Put some cream around it as well. The only garnish that is appropriate for this dish is coriander.
Okay, so we're finally reached our last course for today, which is the main course that we'll be making now. And it's
The pan-seared sea bass with sauteed mushrooms and a very interesting coriander and pea puree.
pea puree.
Pea puree, yes. You like pea now actually?
I love it, do you?
Right. I like the color actually. And we mix with the coriander, even better. Good for the eyesight.
Why when you say pea puree, you always say pea puree?
Huh? Why can't I say
Pea
what's wrong
and
with-
coriander?
What's my pea puree? The ingredients are sea bass, coriander,
Pea?
white button mushrooms, and butter.
Okay, so the first component is the mushrooms, and very simple. You just saute it on a pan with high heat.
Wrong. The
Huh?
simplest
What?
things are always the hardest things to do. You know what's the most difficult dish to cook actually? It's a
What?
fried egg. Fried egg is the hardest dish to cook. It's something, a dish that which I even I also haven't mastered yet. Is that
Really,
difficult? Huh?
Sorry, I guess
Okay.
I'm one level above you. So don't touch, right?
Just make sure that there's a nice sear on the other side. Okay, then when you see a lot of smoke like that, right, then you must lower your heat already. When you salt the mushroom, you don't salt it just right after you put the mushroom. You only salt it when it's almost to be done. Because when you
Why?
salt it, you draw the moisture out and then you'll leak out all the water. And some freshly cracked black pepper.
Yeah, looks good and smells good.
Alright, and our second component for this dish is the pea puree. Start by boiling out some peas.
Wow, they look so cute.
Okay, so now we have our blender all set up already. We're gonna add in the peas, the coriander, and the butter. Yeah, and a bit of salt.
Oh my god! I thought I switched it off. Sorry.
God! That can be green color, you know. Okay, so now we blended the coriander and pea puree. Just gonna pass it through a sieve to make it extra smooth again as well. Okay, and now the last component of our dish will be the pan-seared sea bass. Season it lightly with salt. Make sure that when the fish enter the pan, it's a very hot pan. Then when we put the fish in, we lower the heat to maybe medium low. And then we'll give the fish a nice press, as much surface area it sticks with the pan, so that it's nicely cooked. Alright, this was good.
Wow! So gentle, wow.
I know how much pressure to use for that thing.
Ooh, just
Wow.
want to 掌声鼓励鼓励。
掌声鼓励鼓励 to both of us.
Both of us, yes.
Well, I think first look at it, I think there's a very nice green color to it.
At least it's all different shades of green. This one is light green and then sandy green, and this is a very bright lime green. Okay, what should we eat first? This one, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Oh, it's a very earthy, like cream of something soup. Yeah, I like that the star of this dish is not the coriander, it's actually the savory part of the chicken stock.
What's important over here that the coriander still has a bit of a profile to it, a bit of that vegetal, a bit of that grassiness over there we all like so much.
Okay, next one, the main. I think this dish looks very atas. It's like the very basic fine dining dish. You can't go wrong with a plate like this. You talk
hungry?
first, I want second serving.
What I like about this dish was that the skin is nice and crispy. It didn't have so much of the coriander taste as well also. And the style was more like how you balance out the pea and the coriander flavor.
I think the flavor is very well balanced. You get a bit of salty from the fish, you get the really earthy grassiness from the pea and coriander puree, and then a bit of nuttiness from the mushroom also.
Nice piping skills, eh? I like how they sit on each other. They didn't sort of like converge together.
So
Where you learn from?
so nice
Where you learn from?
Natural born.
Wow,
Yeah, sorry.
very good. Very good. I also like the looks of it also. And the cakes look pretty moist inside. Color also very nice. Something I don't get. I always watch kind of online video. The guy put the food like they haven't tasted the food yet, then they get so wow. But finally I understand why. Because the coconut really hits you in the mouth first. Yeah, and it goes very nicely with the whole coriander.
Coriander taste is not as strong. I think because the butteriness of the recipe really shines through.
But I have to admit that the cake's a bit hard. Could be a bit cakeier.
I really like the flavors. I feel like two people in the office wouldn't. Y'all get ready, cleanse your palate a bit, and then we'll swap places.
So
Okay.
what are we doing?
Eat my food.
Okay, let's start with the soup lah, okay? Which is not bad.
Yeah, this quite nice, right? I think the amount of coriander is just nice. You're tasting more of the aromatics from the onions and the leek, and the coriander just plays a small part in like boosting the flavor, you know.
At first mouth, right, I cannot taste the coriander actually. But then, there's a lingering coriander taste.
Okay, next one.
Actually, I'm very excited for this because I'm a meat lover. I must say first, I'm not a pea lover, nor am I a coriander lover. And the pea taste is really strong.
Yeah, I think the textures play very nicely with each other, especially with the flaky fish and the mushrooms and the soft puree.
Code Chiara. Texture,
Texture
maker,
maker
flavor.
taste.
Shit.
Taste!
I quit lah.
Texture maker taste.
We'll move on to the dessert now.
Wow, it's so dense.
I love the coconut flavor.
You can't taste the coriander, right?
But I must say, right, I really like the crispy crust. Like, it adds a different texture to the dense cake, you know.
Okay, so I think for me, I would happily drink the soup again. I think it has a very nice body, it has a very nice flavor to it.
I'll still eat the cake.
Okay,
I'm still
bye.
eating here.
Bye.
Thanks, Anne. So, what do you think? Is it a success or is it a fail?
I think mix.
Yeah, mixed me because we didn't manage to convince Anne. That was quite sad when I saw the look on her face. All the hours put cooking, and she didn't appreciate our.
We managed to convince them only when we hit the taste of the coriander.
Yeah. But overall, quite satisfied. I think it looks like a normal dish, you know, and it tastes quite well. So I think it's something that I might want to eat sometimes as well.
Actually, same eh. I would cook the fish dish for a date because it looks very atas and it tastes good.
Thank you for watching this episode of Eatbook Cooks.
If you like this episode, you can catch more over there.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye
Bye, Suphon!